Mic check, mic check.
Your team rushing total was declining almost weekly, but then you kind of had an uptick there against Houston, a really good second half. What is your overall assessment of the run game this season?
Well, we take it week to week. We are really when you say right now, which is one of our slogans as a program, that's our room. We deal with the day to day. A lot of people want to try to figure out who we don't have, who's missing, and all the different moving parts. We don't flinch. They're a tight group of guys. They love practicing. You got a guy like Kweli that if you've been at practice, you'll see that 2 or 3 of those days, he's very limited, and he comes out there and gives you 100%. You got a guy like Kedrick, a young guy that's had to step it up and play more than, anticipated. We knew the upside was there and the potential was there, but we didn't know when that opportunity was going to come. So my job is to just prepare them every week and kind of in a mode of you can only control the controllables. So everything, the outside noise, the stuff they read, they're kids. Bottom line, they're young men. They see half that stuff. So you're a product. People always say you're a reflection of your head coach. Well, our head coach blocks that out, and then as a position coach, you're the head coach of your position. So I'm just a reflection of him, and they're a reflection of me. And we just control the controllables. And every week is 1-0. Every day is 1-0. If you come in my room, you see it on our wall. And they have a great energy every day. And I just tell them control what they can control, which is making things right. And that starts in practice. And we don't care who we playing. We try to go out there and just do the best we can do.
Coach Brennan said that Quali, when he was at San Jose State, he never fumbled. And when you look at those 2 fumbles, where do you think his mind was at, and what do you think about him being able to bounce back from that?
It's great to see him bounce back because the first one, we were all in shock. Even he was in shock because where we were in a great position to score. It was a good drive we had going, and you can see the look in his eyes. He like, I just fumbled, and he just had to kind of get him out of that mode. And the second one, the Central Florida one, you guys have been in my practice. You see we do ball security drills every day. We do some kind of, as I call it, running through the smoke, the blind spots, vicing the ball, Xing the ball, whatever verbiage different people use. And he was in traffic. So that was a fundamental flaw, fundamental breakdown in what we teach. And when we watched it, I was able to show it to him, and we was able to move on from it because it was 2 or 3 people in traffic, and he broke the rule. The ball wasn't X, the ball wasn't vice, it wasn't clamped. It was one arm, and the guy did a good job of punching it out from the side. And what I love about the kid, with a young man, he never makes any excuses. And to have 2 weeks in a row where he fumbled, which is very out of character, you just say, hey, let's move on, let's do, what we do, how we practice. I know the detail we put into it. We've been everywhere I've been as far as a running back coach, especially at San Jose State. We've always been in the top 2 or 3 in the country as far as that stat. One year we was number 1, so that's something that we put a heavy emphasis on. Coach Brennan's big on having us watch a lot of ball tape, which emphasizes the importance of protecting the football. So when we have turnovers like that, it has an effect that mentally you're like, wow, we go over these things. So when you make those type of mistakes, you got to kind of push that out their brain. But it's hard because we practice it so much. So when stuff like that happens, you can see where it kind of wore on his psyche a little bit. But I was like, man, we gotta play Houston. I need you to be back to the person you were. And then the bye week came at a great time. So it gave us a chance not only to get physically healthy, but mentally healthy and go out there and play our version of football.
The run game, when you combine with the amount of pulling that the offensive line does, it involves a lot of patience, I would imagine, for the running back. How do you keep them patient, but also have them in that mentality of they got to keep their feet moving for waiting for the openings so that you still can get the speed?
Well, I think Coach Josh Oglesby is one of the best up-and-coming young O-line coaches around. He doesn't get enough credit. Everybody always looked at the bottom line and the numbers, but when you look at the hand he's dealt and what he's been dealt and what he's been able to do, you know, he got 2 or 3 redshirt freshmen playing in the rotation that are starters. And we spend a lot of time together in the off season. We do a lot of meeting times together. So we kind of get an idea of what the strengths and weaknesses are of the individuals on the offensive line. So if there is a puller, we kind of got an idea of what that is, and whether it be a double team to the second level, we have to have enough patience to know. We call this in our room. We always have this thing. We say, consider the source. So whoever's in the game, you have to have an idea where the help is coming from, whether it be in the run game or in pass pro. You know, consider the source. Who's the person pulling? Who's the person double teaming? What's the ID? I mean, there's a lot that goes into a pre-snap read from a running back to the quarterback through the center, and all of that's intertwined. So not only are you just seeing it, who's pulling or who's double teaming, what is the pre-snap read? Are they in an odd front? Are they in an over front, even front, 4 down, bare front? All these things, we process that. And I think it's next level in what we do, because most running backs, I can't speak for other people, but we take a big pride in learning it like I'm snapping the ball. I teach them like they're playing center. So they have an idea of what's about to happen before it happens, whether it be any kind of blitzes or twist game and all that. They kind of have an idea of what that is. So patience is something that we do talk about, and it's something that you can't just roll that out and teach that, because scout team looks not always going to give you the same look. So we really try to emphasize the fundamentals on what does the look say, what is the read supposed to be, whether you got the real read or not in practice. What should that really look like? And I think a lot of that carried over to this last game, just going from the first half to the second half. Once the play was called, we got excited. If you watch, that's why you see on that video me all excited, because that's us. When they called it in the huddle, I had told Ked and Bill, this might be a touchdown, just based on what the call was, because the patience that come with that run is totally different what we have been doing. So it was pretty exciting to see him hit that run the way he hit it. And he made a guy miss, which is one of our rules, win the one-on-one battle. You can't get tackled by one guy. So he made a couple of guys miss, so that was pretty good.
Yes, I do. So Speedy Luke was kind of the most he was playing right before he decided that he wanted to redshirt this season. What were those discussions like?
Well, I don't, without getting into any detail, it was a mutual decision, because there's an injury involved in there, and we don't get into the details of the injury. He's recovering. He'll be fine. We're happy that what he was doing prior to that, very satisfied with what he brings to the table. I love the young man. I love what the young man represents. He brings an element to our backfield that we miss, because he can do so much. He brings a lot to our offense, as well as was really starting to get into the groove of the special team space. So now you got an opportunity to get yourself 100% healthy, go into the spring, use the redshirt year, and able yourself to come back and be able to be just what his nickname is, Speedy. Be that guy. Be 100%, and we're excited about him coming back, and I'm looking forward to being able to coach him. So everything he had done prior to that, that was just a drop in the bucket. It's so much left to be done, and we're excited about that, and you'll be able to see that in the spring.
You talked a little bit about kind of blocking out the outside noise a little bit. There's been a lot of outside noise when you're in a 5-game losing streak.
Yes.
The team went 10-3 last year. Coach Brennan has faced the wrath of the fans, at least in the online world. What has it been like in the coaches' offices? You guys just kind of dealing with that, processing that, and trying to, turn it into a positive?
Well, if you know Coach Brennan, the man, not the coach, what you get is the authentic person. You get the person that's going to give you his truths. He's going to take it as the head coach. I've been with him now. This is my 8th year, and I've known him personally over 25 plus years. And to be able to work with him and see how he has taken this on the chin, like a soldier, like a leader does, all you do is you're like you say, you're an example of your head coach. And my job is to make sure that our group blocks that out. When he say block it out, and be able to stay on the task at hand. You know, we have this saying called right now. All we can control is what's right now. And when we in the room every day, I have a word of the day. And I date it. And then at the end of the month, they have to write an essay and put it in their words. What does that mean to you? Every week we put expectation cards that they have to put weekly expectation cards. So once one game goes past, win, lose, or draw, we go into the next one. What is the right now? What is that 1-0 mentality? We understand when it's a win, it's a loss, but what can you control? And controlling controllables is all we can do. We knew the expectations. You're not sneaking up on nobody anymore. You're in a new conference, so you got to play football. And like I tell people, you can't talk your way through football. A lot of times people think, you know, especially young people, feel they can talk their way through this. You can't talk your way through this. You got to go put in the work, and that's what we're trying to do. As the running back group, we try to be leaders. I happen to have a couple of the upperclassmen in my room. They don't talk that much, but I try to get them to be more leaders. And there's enough upperclassmen and enough players on this team that are high-character young men that will enable us to get over this hump and enable us to take care of the task at hand. And the blue line mentality is what this program is all about. And we're bringing that here. We're going to keep it here. We're going to be consistent. And I take it on the chin, and I look at him as a friend and as a leader. So I'm there for him on one hand as a friend, and I'm also as the lieutenant doing his job to make sure my guys are ready to go.
So I have two questions. It was the decision to put Kedrick in the game to start him. Was that because of the opponent playing against Houston?
Well, no, if you looked at the first play, Q was on the field. The second play, the openers, we have openers. We do them every week. Coach Atkins wanted to put a two-back backfield out there, which happened to be Kedrick as well as Kate and Luke. They were in it together at the same time. So I try to make sure with those openers, I split that up as much as possible to try to take some of that wear and tear off Quali as well. And then you got Kedrick. He was on 3 special teams last week. He's on 4 this week. So them guys and Quali's back on the special teams as well. So what you try to do is you always try to coach to the strengths of your personnel. So if there's plays in there that I think that fit him, I'm going to put him in there with the same confidence as it'll be Quali. So I don't have, remember, I think I told y'all this in the beginning, I don't have a starter. I have a 1 and a 1A. And if they can both do the same things with their skill set, that's what will be on the football field.
And then a third of your upcoming recruiting class is from the state of Texas. I know you have a lot of ties to the Bay Area, but what's it been like recruiting that state, and how important is it to get some?
I love going to Texas. When I first got here, and that was when they had to we sat down as a staff and to ask who wanted to have what areas. I raised my hand. I want Houston and Dallas. You know, I was the first person to want to go to those areas because me being at San Jose State and being a recruiting coordinator like I was there, I made a lot of friends. And being a member of the National Coalition for Minority Football Coaches, I have a lot of ties in the South. I have a lot of ties in the state of Texas. I know a lot of high school coaches. So to be able to go down there it was fun because a lot of my peers were a little nervous because so I always told them, if I ever get a different logo, all y'all in trouble because, you know, I can only recruit West Coast. But if you split me where I can go national, all of y'all in trouble. Plus, I get to go get some good food while I'm at it. So I was all in Louisiana, Texas. I'm going to put a little Florida, North Carolina. I'm going to be everywhere. So that's the beauty of this program. Texas being so close, being in the Big 12, a great conference. You know you can recruit Texas heavy because a lot of those teams will be playing, those families will get to see them play, even when we're on the road. Versus even when we're at home, we're an hour, 2-hour plane ride, depending on where you're coming from. So that's a heavy emphasis for us, being a member of the Big 12, and I'm excited. So yes, I would be back in Texas. I'm working on something as we speak. I'm not going to speak into existence because I don't want to show my hand, but you will see me everywhere, especially in the state of Texas and California. I'm a California guy by nature. I can do that one in my sleep, especially in the Bay Area. Good. Thank you.